Hey guys, welcome to the Round the Rounds here, and in today's video we're going to be ranking the wingers for the upcoming 2022 NRL season. Please note this will be based off the players that are available at the current time, and we will not take into account players that are injured or not starting in round 1. With that being said, let's get into the video. Alright guys, now coming at 16th I've got the Newcastle Knights with their wingers consisting of Nrl Winger and Dominic Young. I put these guys last simply because they're inexperienced, they haven't played that many games, but on the positive side, Tuala, he played 25 matches last year and he actually scored 13 tries, which puts him around like 12th or 13th for the best wingers from last season, so that's not a bad stat, but he also played a lot of games compared to the wingers above him. With Dominic Young, we just haven't seen enough of him and he's not consistent enough, and I honestly don't rate him that well as a winger, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. But just because of their inexperience, I'm going to put them in 16th position. Alright guys, now moving on to 15th position. This might be a bit of a surprise. I've gone with the Eels pair of wingers with Sean Russell and Bailey Simonson. I've only put them this low probably because one, Simonson, this is his first year as an Eel, and he didn't do that flash shot at the Raiders, and Sean Russell's a bit of an up-and-comer, and we haven't seen them work together well, and obviously the Eels have injuries to Micah Sevo as well, so that's always going to dampen their wingers and their ability to affect the game. But they've done well in the trials so far, and we'll see how good they can go, but just based off also their inexperience and their lack of quality, I'm going to put them in 15th. Alright guys, now moving into 14th position, I've gone with the Cowboys wingers, and that is Kyle Feldt and Murray Taulagi. These guys are not bad wingers. Like last year they played 20 games each. Kyle Feldt scored 12 and Taulagi scored 10. They have some decent run meters for the season, but Kyle Feldt, he kind of struggles with his ball handling a little bit. He had 27 errors last year and he gave away 11 penalties, which is a lot more than Taulagi, who had 11 errors and 5 penalties. But in saying that, Kyle Feldt is also a weapon in the air, and he always has been, so he gives that added bonus for the Cowboys for the kicks and whatnot. Besides that, they don't really offer a whole lot of star power, so that's why I'm going to put them into 14th position. Now moving into 13th position, I've gone with the Dragons pairing of Mikael Ravalawa and Cody Ramsey. I put these guys 13th because they're sort of being carried in an aspect by Ravalawa, because he played 16 games last season, scored 14 tries. He kind of reminds me of Micah Sevo in a way. He brings the ball out, he's strong, he's fast, and he's good at finishing. The only downside with this pairing probably is just Cody Ramsey, if I'm being blatantly honest. He played 18 games last season and only scored 6 tries. His run meters was 1200 below Ravalawa, and he played 2 more games than him, which shows that he struggles to get out of his own half and he needs to put on some muscle to be able to do that in the future. And because of that, I'm going to put these guys in 13th because of Ravalawa and his ability alone. Alright, in 12th position I've gone with the Canberra Raiders wingers, and that is Semi Valame and Nick Cotric. These guys are in 12th because Nick Cotric is an absolute weapon, but he had a bit of a quiet season last year with the Bulldogs, and now he's returned to the Raiders, back with a team that he's familiar with, and I expect him to have a better season than he did with the Bulldogs. Semi Valame did not have a great season last year. He played 11 games, only scored twice. So we haven't really seen the most of him yet, but if he had a good pre-season, we can see what he's made of and we'll see if he's fit for the NRL. But Nick Cotric at his absolute best is one of the best wingers in their game, so this is why I put these guys in 12th, and I'm hoping to see the best from both of them this season. Alright guys, now moving on to 11th position, I've gone with the Sydney Roosters pairing for round 1, which is Kevin Nguama and Daniel Tupu. I would have had these guys higher if Joseph Sawali has been playing instead of Kevin Nguama, but he's missing round 1, so that's going to impact these guys in the rankings quite a bit. Daniel Tupou has been quite a gun for a number of years. He's very athletic, very strong, very tall, brings the ball that well, and he's just a very, very good winger. Kevin Nguama, he's been inconsistent. He's been in and out of the NRL. He's come back again now from England, I think it was, so he'll be willing to prove his point. He's an NRL player. But yeah, just based with Kevin Nguama being the winger for round 1, I have to put these guys in 11th position just due to the players that are above them. Alright guys, now moving on to 10th position, I've gone with the West Tigers pairing of David Nofaluma and Ken Mamalo. Both these players are veteran wingers of the game, and for the Tigers that had a pretty bad season last season, they did decently, with Nofaluma playing 24 times, scoring 13 times, and Ken Mamalo playing 21 times but scoring 15 times. I honestly thought Ken Mamalo, from what I saw of him last year, didn't have that good of a year, but we know how much of a gun he is with the Warriors, and he still racked up a bunch of tries. And just based off their experience, based off them being veterans and knowing how to finish and be a good winger, I put them in 10th position. Now in 9th position, I've gone with the Warriors pairing of Marcelo Montoya and Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. These guys didn't score a lot of tries last year. They both played 18 games, with Montoya scoring 5 times and Dallin scoring 9 times. It's not really that, which is why I put them in 9th position. Montoya, for one, he's quite safe hands. He doesn't give away many errors or many penalties. DWZ has a few errors in him, but he's quite solid with his returns and his run meters. But both these players are quite solid players. They're nothing special. They're not star players, in my opinion, but they're good enough, and that's why I put them in 9th position. Alright, now moving on to 8th position, I've gone with the Melbourne Storm's wingers of George Jennings and now the newly recruited Xavier Coates. I put them in 8th because obviously Coates has now just moved to the Storm and he had an okay but injury-ravaged season at the Broncos. George Jennings, he had quite a good season for his standards at the Melbourne Storm, but I guess that's what you get when you play with a quality side. He played 18 games and scored 11 tries, which is pretty good considering Addo-Carr scored 23 tries himself. But yeah, we're looking forward to this season. Xavier Coates could be a future star in the making at the Melbourne Storm, and he's the right club to do so. So yeah, we'll just see how the season goes, but for this season, I'm going to put these guys in 8th. Alright, now to 7th position. This is kind of controversial. I've gone with the Brisbane Broncos pairings of Jermaine Osako and Corey Oates. Corey Oates, we know he's an origin player. He's a good player in his prime. And he had quite an injury-ravaged season as well last season. And then on the flip side, Jermaine Osako, he's also begun. He's been shown to be a really good up-and-comer, and his progress has sort of stagnated at the moment. But I think with the recruits that Brisbane have gotten this year, it's going to up their game more, and there's going to be competition for spots. They're going to have more chances to score. And because of that, I'm going to put these guys in 7th position because both these players are quality players and we need to see the best of them again. Alright, moving into 6th position, this also could be a surprise. I've gone with Philip Sammy and Corey Thompson. The stats don't read amazing, with both of them playing 18 games, Sammy scoring 6 times, Corey Thompson scoring 8 times. It's not really about the stats that I think makes these guys impactful. Corey Thompson, for such a small player, is so good at tackle breaks, getting run meters, and just doing a lot of special plays that help the Titans get up the field, because that's something that they need, and they've been missing for a few years now. Philip Sammy, he does his job. He's quite quick as well. I think these guys are on the rise, and I think they're going to have a really good 2022 season, so that's why I put them in 6th position. Alright guys, now moving into 5th position, I've gone with the Bulldogs wingers pairing, the new wingers pairing of Josh Addo-Carr and Corey Allen. I put these guys in 5th because Josh Addo-Carr is a freak of a winger, one of the best in the comp. He had the 4th most tries last year for any player with 23 tries. And Corey Allen, he's a quality player too, and he also had a quiet season last year with the Bulldogs, but pretty much who didn't have a quiet season at the Bulldogs last year? And we've seen what he can do at the Rabbitohs a few seasons ago, and I think given the recruits the Bulldogs have, he's also going to be another player that's going to have a good season, and I expect him to score some more tries and be more impactful. Obviously Addo-Carr, he's got his pace, and we all know what he can do, so he's a top quality winger, and that's why I put the Bulldogs winger pairings into 5th position. Alright guys, now in 4th position we've gone with the South Sydney Rabbitohs pairing of Alex Johnson and Josh Mansell. These two players are absolute veterans of the games and absolute legends as a winger in my eyes. Johnson had another amazing year last year, scoring the most tries in the league with 30 out of 22 games. And Josh Mansell, he has been good after coming from the Panthers after 7 years there. He fit in straight away and he started doing what we know he can do, and he's a top winger. These guys are coming towards the end of their career, so we're going to have to see if they can maintain their form this year, but based on what we've seen in the last few years, these guys are quality wingers and I have put them in 4th position because of this. Alright guys, moving to 3rd position, I've gone with the Penrith Panthers wingers pairing of Brian To'o and Charlie Staines. These wingers had pretty polar opposite seasons last year, with Charlie Staines sort of having a second year syndrome. They both played 21 games and Staines scored 1 less try than To'o. However, it was the impact that To'o had running the ball out from his own half that was absolutely enormous compared to Staines. To'o had 4.8 thousand run meters, whereas Staines only had 1.6 thousand meters in the same amount of games. To'o, in my opinion, is the best winger in the game, and I could have these guys up further, but the only thing holding them back is Charlie Staines. Yes, he's fast, yes, he's a good finisher, but he doesn't bring the ball that well, he doesn't have a big enough body, and he often gets pushed back when he's bringing the ball out. And that disadvantages the Panthers, especially for a team that is momentum based such as them. If Staines can work on that this season, I think that he can be a top winger, and that'll help up the Panthers too, and I can see these guys being pushed higher, but we'll have to wait and see with them, and that's why I put them in 3rd position. Alright, moving to 2nd place. This is a bit of a surprise. Maybe you might think they're a bit higher than they should be, but I've gone with the Cronulla Sharks with a pairing of Ronaldo Militalo and Sione Katoa. I think both of these players are star players and they're on the rise. Both of them were injured for a lot of last season, but they still scored some good tries, with Ronaldo scoring 10 from 16 games, Katoa scoring 9 from 13 games. Ronaldo Militalo, he shows quite good ability in the air, he's quite athletic, and Katoa, we've seen some of the finishes he's done as a winger is quite incredible simply. And I think these guys, based off the transfers they've gotten for 2022, I think they're going to have a really good year, and they're going to get a lot of chances us a lot of tries because of this, and I expect a top season from them, and that is why I put them in second position. Alright guys, now that leaves first place, and that is the Manly Seagulls wingers pairing of Jason Saab and Ruben Garrick. What a season they had in 2021. Saab scored 26 times and Garrick scored 23 times, and it's not even just about how many tries they scored. Jason Saab is a freak in the air. They were bringing the ball back really well out of their own half, and well, Jason Saab's a freak. He's very quick, very tall, very athletic, and Ruben Garrick, he's a good finisher. He's also a really good goal kicker, and he just does the job, and he's there when you need him, and that's what you want from a winger, especially when you have such another star winger on the other side of the field, such as Saab. I think these guys are primed for a really good season this year again, but we'll have to see if second year syndrome hits Jason Saab or not. But together, in my opinion, they are a better winger pairing than all the other pairings below. So this is why I have them in first. Alright guys, now that is the end of the video. That is the end of my 2022 wingers ratings. Leave a like if you enjoyed the content and make sure to subscribe as well. Leave your comments on who you think are the best winger pairings and I'll be sure to look at them and reply if I can. With that being said, thanks for watching and take care.